Okay, I want to talk about how student debt is changing who we are as consumers. David, you talk about this in your latest op-ed published by The Hill. Tell
Yeah,
us
so
about it.
basically what's happening is if you do have a federally held student loan, you've probably noticed that you've made zero payments, right? Or have the ability to, and aren't accruing any interest. So this is changing consumer behavior because people aren't simply remembering that eventually they're going to have to pay this back.
Yeah.
But even moreover, Julia, the problem is that student loan forgiveness is being floated, but we haven't talked about a few issues. Number one, the interest rate is far too high. Okay, no one pays 7 or 8% on the free market, especially in an environment of ultra low interest rates. And two, even if we were to forgive all loans tomorrow, what would happen, Julia? It would happen all over again.
Yeah, it would happen all over again. It's the policy, it's the system. It's not really individual.
And there's really two culprits here. You know, people like to blame young people for taking on the loans, and of course there is a sense of personal responsibility. But let's talk about the federal government having a blank check for academic institutions, right? And academic institutions completely capturing that money with little regard for their students. So this is a problem of many hands. It's the students' fault, it's the school's fault, and it's the government's fault. I have no idea why the government never put a limit on how much someone can borrow, especially for specific degrees that are not very valuable.
I don't necessarily feel it's the student's fault. At least they have like the least amount of fault, if there is a way to quantify it. They have to go to college, and we and so many other outlets repeatedly say, hey, education is important. You should go to college. It's going to give you better life, better health, all that. And then the colleges are charging so much more than what they used to charge. What choice do they have? What else can they do?
You know what?
You
And
have to take out loans.
this might get me some hate out there, but I completely agree with you, Julia. I think the least amount of blame goes on the student. I mean, we were sold a bill of goods, and we really don't have a choice. I would not be sitting here if I hadn't gone to college.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I didn't have to get student loans because my parents paid. But even if I had to, I would have done it anyway because I really don't have an option. So I think this is a problem where the policy and the system is broken. We need to hold academic institutions accountable for minting all these kids with a bunch of debt without any regard for our future. And then they have the gall to ask us for money. Yeah. So to me, that really grinds my gears, as Family Guy would say.
Yeah.
So
what would you say to all our viewers watching today? They're entering college or grad school, and they're about to sign on that dotted line.
if you are in a state that offers a public school at a low cost to you, go there. If you go to a place that's a private school, make sure you have a good financial aid package. And remember, all of that is negotiable. Do not make the same mistake that our generation made and just assume that you're going to make tons of money when you get out, because guess what, folks? We didn't.
Yeah, I want to just tell our viewers, this is something I did not know when I was entering college. I thought part of my admissions offer was contingent upon how much financial aid I would take from them. So you can always negotiate. It's not like, oh, I'm going to call the financial aid office.
Decisions.
There are two independent offices. I thought they were together. I mean, I was only 17.
What, you thought if you asked for too much money, they'd give you the boot?
Right. I thought if I asked for more money, they would be like, oh, well, we're not going to have you
we're
here
done with you.
anymore.
Goodbye.
Yeah, that's not true. I assumed that was incorrect, so I don't want any of you to make that mistake.
So make educated choices. Unfortunately, education is a consumable product. Would you go out and buy a Ferrari when you can buy a perfectly good Toyota and it gets you from point A to point B? That's what you need to consider. So back in our day, they told us, go to the college that you feel like going to. No, go to the college that makes the most academic and economic sense to you.